Hello, I'm MC Toon. So last week I had a look at a video by Globusters that they mirrored about the Gleason map. Today I'm going to have a look at that again and look at some of the description and the comments that they made on the video. I'm also going to have a look to see what Rob Skiba has to say about the Gleason map. Finally, I'm going to finish the cartography work that they didn't do, and I'm going to present the official Skiba Globusters Flat Earth map. So, in September, when Globusters mirrored the video called The Gleason's Map, a masterpiece of genius, they had a few things to say about it. Here you can see the description is, as the original was, they called the Gleason map the masterpiece of a genius. And then Globusters added their own description, which was an absolutely brilliant analysis of the 1892 Gleason's Flat Earth map. So many questions are answered in this video, and the secrets of Alexander Gleason are revealed regarding this masterpiece map. They must really like this map. In fact, they like it so much that they had quite a few comments on the map, and Globusters actually interacted with them a little bit. But this one here, Rune Thorson, says this video gives Perth to Sydney a 400 kilometer. All other maps, 4,000 kilometers. All other maps I've come across gives this closer to 3,200 kilometers. Either the Gleason's is correct about the distance and all other maps are flawed, or all other maps are correct and the Gleason's is wrong. Or they're all wrong. Just the first measurement he gives. No big deal, right? No way this is disinfo, right? Well, Globusters didn't really have much of a comment. They just linked a little map across Australia. So let's have a look here what it was that they did. They linked this, driving directions from Sydney to Perth at 3,934 kilometers. So the distance matches. But remember that Globusters is Bob Nodell, right? Super Noodle Doodle. And he used to claim that he was a pilot. Maybe he had a little bit of flight school or something at some point. And planes don't follow roads like that. They go, the shortest distance possible. So Rune Thorson wasn't happy with that, and he brought up an actual comparison between the driving distance and the flying distance and found that no, they're not the same, and they don't follow the same route. And the flying distance was 3,290 miles, according to this one, and the driving distance was 3,920 miles. Very much different. So, Bob Nodell, why, when talking about straight line distances, would you do a road map distance? Are you a little desperate there? A little confused about stuff, maybe? You used to be a pilot, but you can't get this pilot-y stuff very right. Well, the thing is that Bob and Globusters, they really like this video, and they really defend it well. So the key part here is that this distance between the lines of longitude, which on the globe varies from the widest at the equator down to nothing at each of the poles, this guy says it's a little different than that. Let's listen.
Why 60 nautical miles? To answer this question, we have to read between the lines. And it says 60 miles to the degree.
There it is. So 60 miles to the degree longitude as well as latitude, right? Well, that's what they thought. And they took it and they mirrored it, and they must absolutely believe in it because they called it brilliant. So thank you, Bob, and the rest of the Globusters for having a strong stance on this map, that you think is absolutely brilliant. So let's move on to Rob Skiba's map, which is the same one, the Gleason's map. And he put this up a couple years ago, but he's left it up So he must still agree with everything on it. Otherwise, I would figure he would take it down if he disagreed with his conclusions here. So we're going to have a look at what he has to say about the Gleason's map here.
And check it out. And I'm actually beginning to wonder if perhaps this map isn't leaving a code for us. I heard another YouTuber mention it. Forgive me, I don't remember who it was, but there was another YouTuber out there that was putting forth the idea that maybe this thing is leaving a code here. Originally, it had two arms, full-length arms that you could use to measure things with right here. And this one's cut off right here. Interestingly enough, it is going right over the nation state of Israel right here at 33 degrees.
33 degrees. Rob, are you one of the Freemason overlords that you think that that's an important number? Okay.
Israel, it's right under here. So, I don't know what this means right here. It's cut off at about the 25 degree latitude or so right here. And it's pointing at a 55 degree angle. Best I could tell, it's about 55 degrees off center here toward the 930 mark. Is this a code? I don't know. It'd be pure speculation, anything I would say at this point.
Yes, it is speculation. And especially since, do you think that Gleason himself tore off a part of that arm before it was brought to the Boston Library in 1922? Because that's it's marked on there when it was brought into the library. Is it possible maybe instead that in the 30 years from when that map was first available until it found its way to the library, that the arm got ripped off a little bit and it's just meaningless? Is it, maybe in 2013 at 8:19 in the morning when this map image that you're looking at was digitized? Because you can look at that information in the EXIF information of the image when you download it, Rob. That's attached to that image. In 2013, that particular arm was set to that angle by some drudgeon scanning the maps that morning.
I mean, they've no respect for us up there, no respect whatsoever. We're all just drudgeons to them.
Yes. If there were such a thing as a drudgeon, that is what we'd be to them.
It's like they're pally-wally when there's a problem with their printer, but once it's fixed...
They toss us away like yesterday's jam.
Yes! Yesterday's jam! That is what we are to them! Actually, you know what? That doesn't really work as a thing. Because jam lasts for ages.
It seems Rob wants to see a hidden message and attribute it to Alexander Gleason over 100 years after he died.
But this is what I want to revisit. I'm taking another look at this azimuthal equidistant map because I was looking up the terms and why it's called that.
He didn't look up the terms. We'll find that out later.
Called an azimuthal equidistant map because it's an azimuth reading off of the North Pole. So, if you're standing on the North Pole with a compass, you can take an azimuth in any of these directions and it will take you to the appropriate place, whatever you want to get to. So if you want to get to the United States, you take a reading off of here, off this line right here, and you'll get there no problem. But you'll note that it also said equidistant. And this is where I think many people are making a mistake. I know I certainly was. And I have a suspicion, and I'm not saying anything definitively here, I'm just guessing, that this is the same mistake that Tiger Dan may have made, which caused him to have his meltdown when he was trying to create a quote-unquote accurate flat Earth map.
Yeah, you may not know who Tiger Dan is. Tiger Dan used to be a flat earther. He tried to make an accurate flat Earth map using the known distances between major cities. A very good way to try to make a map. So let's have a look at Tiger Dan's conclusions.
If you've been watching my series, I've been working on this map, and what you can't do is stretch the map round. I've put a lot of effort into making this map, and you can't stretch it round, because wherever you stretch it, something is going to be off, because Africa needs to be close to South America, which needs to be close to Australia, which needs to be close to Africa, and you can't stretch any of these out in a way that will fit.
So Tiger Nan didn't have a meltdown. He was honest. Honest enough that when he was presented with information that did not fit with the flat earth bias that he had, he let the evidence lead the way instead of being trapped by dogma. Well done, Dan. We need more honest people like you.
I'm beginning to think this may actually be an accurate flat earth map. I mean, it says right at the top of this thing that is Gleason's new standard map of the world on the projection.
On the projection. That's your key right there. As soon as you get to projection, you know that this is coming from a different source, specifically a spherical source. So it's not an accurate flat earth map because it's from a projection.
Of J.S. Christopher, Modern College, Blackheath, England, scientifically and practically correct.
Now, if Rob had done his own research, like all the flat earthers say they should do, he would have read the patent that came along with this map, right? That's in the patent. It states that it's meant to be a time zone calculator. You put one arm at the current spot where you're at. You put a different arm at some other location on the map, and that angle gives you the difference in time zone. It's approximate because time zones are not just geographical, but they're political. Right? But that's what Gleason claimed, and it is accurate for that purpose, as it is.
As it is. So this map is claiming to be accurate. So I started looking at this and figured, okay, when you just look at it the way it is right here, this seems like a massive distance to fly. Until you realize this map is created to be equal distant. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me go ahead and put the flight path up here. That's roughly the path. I mean, it's probably not exact, but just figuring something like this is what it would have to look like in order to emulate this right here on the ball. Okay, so this is a rough estimate of the flight path right here. Well, when I was considering the whole idea of it being equidistant, I went ahead and created another measurement bar right here, and I've got it. Center is actually somewhere right around here. This is off center. You can kind of tell how it's not quite right, based on the circle right here. So I believe I've got this pretty close to the correct location for center. So I created it so it would go all the way down. And you notice, let me go ahead and zoom in here. You notice that it's basically 3 bars per circular line here. So you got the circular line, and you got 1, 2, 3, another circular, 1, 2, 3, another circular, and so forth. So just to kind of illustrate that a little better here, what this map is apparently designed to do is to show you each of these grids are equal.
No, actually, no. That's not what equidistant means on this map. There's a specific meaning for equidistant that he didn't look up.
Now, it looks like it's fanning out right here, but this is just a distortion necessary for the creation of this map for everything to be on a circle and still be equidistant. So this square right here is identical in terms of distance to this one right here.
So here Rob is getting confused about the term equidistant, right? He thinks it means equal size sections, but it doesn't say that on the map anywhere. It doesn't give instructions as to what sections, what squares, what pie pieces are equidistants. Equidistant is a specific cartography term. If Rob had done his own research, like all the flat earthers say they should do, he would have found that out. Equidistant for a projection, which this is a map projection that maintains scale along one or more lines, or from one or 2 points to all other points on the map. That this particular azimuthal is about 1 point. The distance between the center point on the map and any other points is correct with an equidistant projection. That's what this map is talking about. The distance from the North Pole is correct. No other distances are necessarily correct, just from the North Pole. That's what equidistant means. It's a very specific meaning, but he missed it because he doesn't do research.
It's equidistant. This is 3 bars. Let me show you the second one here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right? And you also got 1, 2, 3. So if you just kind of carry these lines forward, you know, from see how this is white right here, black, white. Take this line and keep that going all the way. Take this line and going all the way right here. This square, in terms of distance, is identical to this square right here in terms of distance.
So Rob is just wandering around like a ship without a rudder, trying to figure out and trying to force a flat map to work. So if these squares were equal in size as he thinks, why would you not just make a map that depicts it this way? Right?
So I went ahead and created the squares to show you each of these squares right here are all the same distance, height and width, if I can use those terms.
Sure, you can use those terms, but they're not squares. These are trapezoidal pi sections, right? They are not squares, and in no way is this map suggesting that they're supposed to be squares. But he goes on with it because he really likes it.
All right. So with that being the case, I thought, okay, so I mean, I just showed you that this is a consistent black, white, black, white, black, white, 3 per and 3 per. So it is consistent. It's just scaled for the purpose of creating lines on a disk. But what it's telling you again is this distance, this square right here, in terms of height and width, is identical to this one in terms of height and width. All right? Hopefully you're following me here.
Oh, I'm following you here, bro. In fact, why didn't you look for a map that matches the dimensions that you identified in this? It's not that hard to do. I looked it up. It was easy. I got it right here. Look at that. All of these are the same width going across. This is your map, Rob, right here. So in the rest of this video, Rob creates this fan grid thing, and which just measures degrees of longitude, but he mistakes it for actual distance measurements. Then claims it's accurate without realizing he's just made a protractor. I'm certain that after this presentation of the flat Earth map that both Bob and Rob have done, that they're going to be excited. They're going to present it and unveil it at their talks at the Flat Earth Global Convention in November. So here's your map, guys. And if you want, contact me. I can get you a larger version of it. But there's a problem, because how do you go from here to here? But that's easy to solve. What you do is you just roll it up here, right? And there you go. Now you've got your flat Earth map right here, the official Bob and Rob flat Earth map, people. Perfect. So go ahead, present this next month. I hope to see it. I'll watch the video and cheer you on. So thanks very much for watching. If you liked it, click on the subscribe and the like button and the bell thing. And if you didn't like it, send me a comment or an email. My email address will be in the description, and just give me a comment down below. And if your name is Bob Super Noodle Doodle or Rob Skiba, you're welcome.